Hello everyone. So today I wanted to do a video looking at the upcoming Women's Super League Eternity set. So back on my channel previously, I did a similar video when the Lionesses Eternity set was coming out, which obviously I collected quite heavily. It was about probably 8-9 months ago that came out now. So Panini are following it up with a few more Eternity sets. So after the Lionesses one, they released a French League one or a France national team one. And then recently we had the EFL one from the men's side of things. And now we're getting the WSL. So if anyone hasn't seen this yet, Panini put the boxes available for pre-sale recently. Like the Lionesses set, the individual box was £150. And they actually have made cases available at 1500. They've now sold out. I wasn't able to get a video together um, prior to the release of the sale, but I thought I'd still put one together now because they may put more boxes available sale once the public sale goes live, and people might you find this useful information for stuff like buying into breaks or buying cards online once you start seeing these pop up on eBay. So this is some images of what the set will be. I'll show these images in larger size towards the end of the video. So just to break it down, like the Lionesses set, there'll be 3 autographs per box. There'll be 5 numbered parallels, and the parallels will range from out of 50 for green, 25 for magenta, 10 for red, 5 for gold, and then the one of one blacks. So just to go straight to the checklist, start breaking this out. So I'm going to look at this purely from sort of like a collector point of view. Anybody who's not as familiar with WSL and might be interested in buying in, or breakers who aren't as familiar with the league, I can hopefully shed some light on a lot of this checklist. So like the Lionesses set, the first card you'll have are the base cards, which are these ones with this like line pattern, this green parallel out of 50. So there's 30 cards split across the 12 teams, with the more popular, bigger teams having a higher percentage of the cards. So for instance, Arsenal have got 4, Chelsea have got 4, Man City have got 3, and Manchester United have got 3. So with Arsenal, you've got Wubben-Moy, Niswanger, Pelova, and Blackstenius. Villa have got the defender Mailing and attacker Grant. You've got defender McLaughlin at Brighton with Camacho the forward. Then we get to the Chelsea batch of Hampton, Nuskin, Captain, and Ritting Canrid. Everton, you've got the goalkeeper Brosnan and Holmgard. You've got a couple of players from Leicester. You've got the 2 centre backs from Liverpool, Fisk and Clark. You've got the first of the LCL cards, London City Lionesses. You've got Kennedy and Kumargai. Man City, you've got the keeper Keating, Lazel and Blunkilde Brown. Man United, you've got Chillis, Joyce, Riviere, Colton. Spurs, you've got Nilden and Thomas, and then Zadorski and Corey at West Ham. One thing to note is that this base card checklist is probably one of the weaker subsets of the checklist. A lot of the bigger name players have been kept for later sets, but you have got some fairly big popular players on here. So you've got Blackstenius from Arsenal, who'll be very popular. You've got Hampton, Nuskin, Cannerid, probably going to be very popular from Chelsea. The Man City players are probably some of the lesser popular ones, but Laura Blinkilde Brown is probably going to be popular. Chillis Joyce getting a first hobby card, same as Riviere, they're probably pretty popular. The next subset is the milestone cards, which I think this is a stronger selection of players. On this occasion, you've only got 2 from Arsenal in McCabe and Marnham. You've got Villa's captain and top scorer in Dalian Hansen, probably 2 of Brighton's best players in Kirby and Saker. You've then got Germa with might be her first Chelsea cards, or certainly certainly some of her first. Got Cuthbert, Getting Ramirez and Wrighton. Got a couple for Everton, Leicester and Liverpool. A couple of LCLs, bigger players in Asllani and Paris. 4 for Man City in Greenwood, Coombs, Fowler and Kerolin. Man United's captain then comes Letitia along with Turner and Rachel Williams. So there are a fair few players on here that have changed clubs. For instance, Rachel Williams is now at Leicester. Anoop Denton's left West Ham and gone to Bay FC in America. I'm not sure how early in the season they committed to this checklist, but it was clearly prior to January. So there'll be a few more players that aren't at the correct teams, but again, there was 30 cards in this subset. Represent, again, 30 cards, so your 3 Arsenal players are Fox, Cadena and Williamson. Cadena probably been a bit of one that stands out because she doesn't play very much, but you represent cards are these ones with the club colours and badge in the background. Have we got one pictured on here? I don't think there's any milestone cards actually pictured on the preview images. So on this list, probably some players to keep an eye out for. So Chelsea have got a nice bundle of 4 players. Lexi Potter is in her first full season playing for Chelsea. So she's basically a rookie in this product. She's one that Chelsea fans will probably after. There's also Williamson and Fox from Arsenal going to be very popular. From LCL, you've got Yana Fernandez, who came from Barcelona. Katie Zelham's left the club and now plays for West Ham on loan. From a Man City point of view, Jade Rose is probably quite a nice one to have on the list. She's obviously in her first season having a great season at Man City, ahead of them likely winning the league. The Man United selection probably will be quite popular in Toon, Miyazawa and Janssen. The West Ham selection is probably not going to be too popular. Same with Leicester. The likelihood is they're probably the least popular teams in terms of collectability and also like break purchasing is probably Leicester and West Ham. They have the smaller fan bases in the league and generally are quite usually near the bottom, with Leicester likely being in the relegation playoff. You've then got the 4 other team cards. Unlike in the Lionesses set, I think these are less collectible. There's 12 teams in the league, so the 2 that don't have a card assigned to them are Liverpool and West Ham. Makes sense because neither team won for the first 6 or 7 matches of the season. In fact, Liverpool are in this checklist twice, but losing to Everton and Leicester, while West Ham feature in their loss to Brighton. So what the images look like will probably just depend on how popular they are. There was one on the preview images, this one for LCL when they won their first game, and that was against Everton. So those will probably not be as popular as the Lionesses ones. I can imagine Breakers will probably group these together. I probably would try and avoid getting baited into thinking buying this because they hit quite a lot in breaks. You're going to end up with random cards of random games from the very start of the season. And unless the image is cool and you like to collect it, I wouldn't jump into collecting these. Some of the coolest cards are now coming up, and this is a very strong checklist. We're on to Artistics, which are these cards. And this is the Caldente pink out of 25. So this checklist, you've got 3 from Arsenal, all 3 midfielders. You've got 2 that are going to be very popular, potentially all 3. So Caldente is going to be massively popular, as well as Kim Little. The Aussies are going to love collecting Cooney Cross. Hasn't had many Arsenal cards across the various sets. The Aston Villa players, you've got Missy Bo Kearns, who's probably going to be quite popular. Ebony Salmon, probably not as much. You've then got Brighton's 2 central midfielders. You've got the captain in Simmons, and then you've got Chankovic. The Chelsea players, again, probably quite popular. You've got Walsh and James, who are definitely going to be popular, and then Hamano, who has had a couple of really good seasons, currently on loan at Spurs, but has had some really good performances for Chelsea in the past. Kelly Gago from Everton is probably not a strong selection. I don't think she scored this season. She tried leaving the club. Van Egmond from Leicester, potentially. I think she's a Kiwi off the top of my head, or she's also Aussie. Probably, if she is Aussie, she might have some collectors. The Liverpool players are probably two of the strongest on the checklist. You have the two centre backs earlier in the checklist. They've got two of the central midfielders now in Nagano and Hobbinger. Man City selection's really strong with Hasegawa and Miedema, two of the best players. Hasegawa probably their best midfielder, possibly best midfielder in the league. The Man U selections are strong. You've got the left back Sandberg and Bizet, who's currently out with pregnancy. Vinberg at Spurs and then Asayi at West Ham. Probably one of West Ham's best players and probably one of their best selections on the checklist. The next insert selection is your debut card. So these are all players that have kicked into the league this year. Probably the biggest name on this list will probably be Olivia Smith for Arsenal. This is still her first year of cards, so these are going to be technically rookies as well. You've also got Hines at Arsenal, probably one of the lesser popular Arsenal players on the checklist. Quite a big one from an England perspective. You've got Lucia Kendall, who's obviously played a few times for England now. At Brighton, you've got Ndozi, the goalkeeper. At Chelsea, two players who are probably going to be really popular. You've got Ellie Carpenter, the Aussie, who'll have quite a popular fan base and be quite collectible. And then Alicia Thompson, some of her first hobby Chelsea cards. She's going to be popular. The Everton players, Mamiki is probably the best of these three. Ishikawa's had a bit of a mixed season and Van Gaal's not really made much impact. The Leicester players are not going to be collecting high numbers. Woodham at Liverpool's not had a strong season, has sort of lost a place at left back. Burnaby's not in the set, so Woodham's in here. The London City Lionesses selection's quite strong. You've got Jana Fernandez. I think she was higher up the list as well. And Corrales, who both came from Barcelona. Then you've got Linari, the Italian, who played really well at the Euros. Francis barely played this season. Clinton at Man City and Lohman. Lohman is going to be quite collectible from the Germans. Clinton will be interested to see. She's not had a big impact at Man City, so they've got more desirable players, and Clinton's got quite a few England cards. Rolfo, the Man U, that's probably quite a popular card, as well as Koga has had a strong season at Spurs. The West Ham players, Carrera's not played a huge amount, and it's had quite a steady season. Theo Morgan again. It's just another West Ham player. She's had a steady season, but not set the world alight up as an attacker for them. The last selection is the Eclipse cards. So just to show you, these are the debut cards. That's the checklist we just looked at, and these are the Eclipse cards. So this is the Ruby Mace. These were very popular in the Lionesses set, along with the artistic cards. A couple of big names for Arsenal here, biggest being Chloe Kelly. And then you've got Van Domselaar and Ford, who are going to be popular as well. The Aston Villa players probably not going to be too popular on this list. Wilms has had a solid season since joining. Charlie Rule could be quite popular. Again, another Aussie. Madison Haley, the American, has just scored a couple of goals in the win against Man City. That's just happened. The Chelsea selection is really strong. You've got Bronze, Kerr and Beaver Jones. Three players are definitely going to be popular. Everton, you've got Haley, the lad who barely played this season. I don't even know, she might have been loaned out, but Ruby Mace, probably their best player at the moment. Potentially going to be up for a move and potentially get more England caps. Probably the most collectible of the Leicester players is Leipzig, from the fact she's German and probably being the goalkeeper probably has the biggest impact on the team, given how busy she is. She makes a lot of saves. The Liverpool ones, you've got sort of backup centre half in Gemma Bonner and Capox, who's had a steady season but hasn't done anything amazing. LCL, you've got their record signing in Guillaume, the French. I don't know if she's the captain of France, but she's a regular starter for France. Probably their most unique addition would be Goodwin, because she was playing for them in the Championship. Has had a solid season, about 4 or 5 goals. The Man City ones are the two of the younger players. So Grace Pryor, who did start the start of the season, hasn't featured much since, and Lily Murphy's barely made an appearance this year. Played a bit last year, including a goal in the Champions League. The Man U selection is very strong. You've got Jess Park and Mallard. And then Spurs, you've got Ashley Neville, who's left, but Spurs fans are probably going to find this very collectible because she was at the club for a lot of years. And then you've got Shakira Martinez, who had a very strong second half of the season last year, but she's not really kicked on this year. Got 3, 4, 5 goals, something like that this season, but definitely not lived up to the high standard she set at the end of last season. The last selection of the base checklist or subsets is the together cards, which are these ones, where you've got 2 players from the same team featuring on the card. There's no West Ham and no London City Lionesses in this set. LCL makes sense because they hadn't played many games, so not many partnerships had formed. Probably the most desirable on this list are going to be your Russo Mead card, both in England internationals. The Hempenshaw is going to be popular. Bjorn and Bright's quite a cool one, the centre backs, and then also the England and Tanberg striking partnership from Spurs. These tend to be quite popular. Again, breakers tend to group these together. So even if you go into a break and buy like Chelsea, you're unlikely to get this card if there's a together spot also listed in the break. So then the last bit of the set is your free autos per box will come from this checklist. There are 50 autographs. We've got 41 autographs and then 9 rookie autographs. Now, for any Arsenal fans, there's a glaring omission from this checklist in that there are no Arsenal autographs. So please bear this in mind if you are going down the breaks route, that you don't overpay for Arsenal spots, and have looked at this list. Double check that if you're buying an individual player spot, please make sure you know they haven't got an autograph before someone overcharges you for Chloe Kelly or something like that. So there's no Arsenal autographs. From my understanding, Arsenal have a bespoke license as a club, and this potentially is what's impacting the autographs. I don't know if it's whether or not the Tops have got an exclusive license for autographs from Arsenal, or if they didn't get a license in time, Panini, and then had to just leave them off the checklist. So yeah, no Arsenal autographs. The autographs checklist is a bit mixed in terms of qualities of players, but there are some standouts on here. For any fan of any of these teams, it's a strong checklist because most of these teams have not had autograph cards before. So for Aston Villa, you've got Mailing, Bo Kearns, Daly and Grant. Bo Kearns and Daly aren't a surprise because they were in the Lionesses set. It's a bit weird this time because Daly will be an actual active player, while in the Lioness set she was a legend. Then you've got the Dutch player, Chastity Grant. You've also got Mailing. The Brighton selection's quite strong. Again, no surprise to see Hadjiman and Simons on here because they were in the Lionesses set. Interestingly, both are on the regular autograph selection, not the rookies, which they were in the Lionesses. You've got the defender Oli Slagers, and then you've got Frank Kirby, which is one of the cards I'll be going after myself. The Chelsea selection's strong. You've got Millie Bright, Cuthbert, James, Ritten Canarid, and Sam Kerr. Most have had Chelsea autographs in top sets. I'm not sure if Canarid has, so that could be a cool card. and Erin Cuthbert hasn't had many. She's only had a handful, I believe, in one of the Chelsea team sets. So that'll be quite a cool one for Chelsea fans. Everton's selection is fairly strong. You've got long-time player Cassius Noyce, so that'll be quite a cool one for Everton fans. If Kelly Gago stays at the club past the summer, this could be a cool one. I believe she's only been there a season and a half. She had a fairly strong season last year, but she's done nothing this year. I've tried to force her to move out of the club. Leicester, sort of two of their more solid outfield players. You've got Shannon O'Brien, top scorer, I think, this season, and then you've got Sam Tierney. Neither are going to set the world alight. Probably going to be two of the cheaper autographs in the set. Same with the Liverpool selection. They're not going to be particularly high sellers. For Liverpool fans, probably would hope for a couple of better names in here. Gemma Evans has had a really poor season. Gemma Bonner hasn't played a lot. Nagano's probably the strongest of this selection, starting in midfield pretty much every game. Then you've got Mia Enderby, who was expected given that she was in the Lionesses set. You probably would have liked, from a Liverpool point of view, to see probably Jenna Clark, Grace Fisk in here, potentially Hobbinger. And probably Kerry Holland is probably the standout that isn't on here. That's probably their best player this season. LCL selection's fairly strong. Glaring one is Katie Zelens, obviously left the club out on loan. Is probably not going to be there next year. She'll probably leave. I think probably the strongest ones on here are Jana Fernandez and Poppy Patterson. Poppy Patterson recently getting in the England squad. So she's quite a strong one on this list. And Jana Fernandez, I can't remember if she had any Barcelona autographs. But obviously she's got ones in this set. She's had quite a solid season. Then Alana Kennedy, again, I don't think she ever had a Man City autograph whilst at Man City. She could be quite popular, especially with the Aussie collectors. Man City's list is very strong, as is Manchester United's. So Man City, Greenwood is expected, as was Clinton, and Hemp previously had England autographs. Particularly cool on here is we've got first autograph of Kasparai. He's obviously the best, had an amazing season. I would say comfortably the best right back in the league. She can run all day. Then we've got probably going to be the player of the season for the league this year in Bunny Shaw. And Meadham has got some autographs, so that's a very strong selection. Man United, you're looking at Tulis Joyce has got some autographs. I think these are her first, so they're really cool. You've got the England selection of Letitia Toon and Park, who are going to be very popular. Not sure if Mallard's had autographs before, but she's got some, and as has Bizet. I don't believe he's had any. I'm not 100% sure who's had autographs in the Man United team sets that have come out recently, so if they have, they might have tops ones, but they're certainly their first Panini autographs. Sort of a cool one for a Spurs fan. Ashley Neville's got an autograph. Obviously, he's left and gone to Leicester partway through the season. Martha Thomas also left and has gone out on loan to Liverpool. She'll be back at the club next year, whether or not she stays or not. Martha Thomas hasn't set the ground alight from Spurs, so this isn't a great one. Leonard Williams was in the Lionesses set as a rookie. She's a fringes player at the moment, makes the odd appearance off the bench. Can't see her setting the world alight. She could have easily been down in the rookie section. And then there's Finn Morgan as a West Ham's only selection. Again, not set the world alight. She's mid-20s at this point. Welsh collectors will probably be interested in her cards. And with how low numbered the autographs are, with them being numbered... Oh, there's actually... the autographs are from 25-1, and then you've got base ones. It's probably not going to be a huge amount of every autograph. Finally, we've got the autographs rookies. Bit misleading is this list, because quite a few of these players have had autographs or cards previously, so to call them rookies, it's a little bit of a stretch. Specifically, we're looking at Beaver Joan on this list, who's had cards for 2 or 3 years from Topps. She's in the 23-24 Topps set, Champions League set with rookie cards. This is a product for the 25-26 season. She's also even had autographs from Topps. I think her first ones were in the Euro set from last summer, even though they were unlicensed. So I think this is a massive push from Panini. I don't agree with her being on this list. Probably the biggest ones on here are probably Izzy Hobson. She's still the WSL's youngest ever scorer. At 16, she scored an equaliser against Arsenal. She hasn't kicked on much since then, but she's still only 18. She's currently out on loan in Norway. Ruby Mace's, I think, first autograph cards, they're pretty good. There'll be potentially fans of a couple of clubs eyeing them up, given that she could go to Arsenal, she could go to some other bigger clubs. Chelsea, a rumour, basically anyone in the top half of the WSL is currently linked with Ruby Mace. So her autographs could be quite popular. Iman Bene is sort of a bit part player for Man City at the moment. She had a really good Euros with Switzerland. There's a chance she could feature more next year, but this will be her first autographs. Tandberg's autographs probably quite popular. Again, pushing it as a rookie because she had cards with Topps at her previous club in Sweden. They're definitely WSL first cards. Halle Hussein, probably not a lot to scream about here. She barely featured for West Ham. I think she's not even had a WSL appearance yet. Mbom, largely featured off the bench for Brighton. Nothing to shout about there. Martina Fernandez had quite an average season at Everton. And Kiara Keaton, quite a cool one from an England perspective. Obviously has 1 or 2 caps now for the national team, but he's comfortably Man City's backup goalkeeper. She's out of contract in the summer, might not stay at Man City, so that might impact how collectible she is. So yeah, that's the full checklist. Appreciate it's taken a while to get through. Just to go back to sort of the preview images, so on here you'll see these are the goal parallels, this being the base. You've got your base artistic. This is what your 1-of-1 autograph card will look like. So you've got the black pattern on the sides. If it is a numbered autograph, for instance, a gold parallel, you'll see that the card is this more gold colour. So you're looking for this black for a base, for a 1-of-1 autograph. For a base, there'll be silver, and for the outer 20 magenta, this will be a bright pink. These are your green parallels, you've got your base togethers. You've got a 1-of-1 here for Leah Williamson, so this can be a very, very popular card. And as you can see, they've gone for 1-of-1 with the off spelt out. In the Lionesses set, they just used the /. So that's quite a cool change. This is what your box will look like in your packs. Just beware if you buy your own boxes, these packs are quite hard to open. I tended to cut across the top with scissors and sort of slide the cards out to avoid potentially damaging the corners of the card when trying to tear them. These are your out of 10 parallels, which some teams are going to look really cool in, especially Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United, the red on red. These are your base debuts, your gold autographs, and then your final pictures, you've sort of got your red for the teams, you've got your base autograph with the silver, got your base represent and base eclipse, and then one of the parallels of artistics. So hopefully when there's no current release date or shipping date for these. They haven't disclosed if there's going to be more boxes available when they are released. I suspect because cases were pre-released on the site, breakers will have bought a lot of this product. So or large eBay stores. So what you might see on release day is a lot of breaks be posted and a lot of base card listings, parallels being put straight onto eBay by the same sellers. Please be careful on release week not to get too carried away with prices, especially on eBay for things like autographs and parallels. The parallels and the autographs always fall in price, unless people mislist things. So please be wary of that. And breaks will be always most expensive at the very start when people are most trigger happy and one of ones are all still in the product. So please be careful. Please bear in mind the thing about Arsenal not having any autographs, and please just make sure you've referred back to the checklist if you're unsure what your break spot contains. For instance, if you're buying a whole team spot, please be wary of who's got cards and in what subsets. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't bought any boxes myself. I'm likely to just go down the break route and the singles route by buying cards on eBay. I'm going to largely focus on getting Liverpool cards because they're my local team, and autographs and parallels of other players I collect, such as Kirby, Bronze, the other England players, or autographs, players like Kasparai, or other ones who've not had autographs before that I particularly like. So hopefully people have found this useful, and I will put up another video potentially when I get some of these cards in the post or whenever I've next got an update. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll catch you later.